And then when we actually get to see for the first time, it is like the most anticlimactic reveal. It's Kristen, and today we are talking about The Craft Legacy. So this project is a continuation of the original film from the 90s, The Craft, and we follow a group of young women who are coming into their own magical abilities and trying to make a difference in the world. Consider subscribing if you like my videos, and drop down in the comments and let me know your thoughts on The Craft Legacy. Did you love it? Did you hate it? I would love to hear your thoughts. I also want to mention that I did a really awesome interview on Pop Culture Planet with Zoe Luna, who plays Lourdes in The Craft Legacy. So if you're interested in hearing from her about what it was like working on the project, you can check that out right over here. Now, I think what's really interesting about this story is that it does feel tonally really different from the original Craft. I think the original Craft, we really followed these girls who were considered weird and strange and who were misfits. And I think in this project, we're following girls who may not be the most popular girls in school, but I definitely don't think that they were like out of the ordinary misfits. You know, they really were very woke. They were doing a lot of really positive magic, which I also thought was really different from the original film. You know, in that first film, they were really focused on kind of like power. Each of the girls had different kind of goals that they were trying to achieve. One was dealing with racism, one was dealing with not feeling pretty, one was dealing with wanting power, one was dealing with being a new girl in school. And in this project, well, it looked like they were having so much fun, and I think they had some really strong actresses in this project. They didn't actually have any like personalities outside of like, we're gonna be witches and have fun. I just wish that there was like more character development. There wasn't really much to each girl's character. I think with a project like The Craft, it just feels like such an amazing opportunity to really take the diverse characters that you have and make them, you know, part of the forefront. And instead we have our actors who are Black and transgender Latinx people relayed to the background. And again, this story focuses on a straight white girl. And I just think that this was a huge missed opportunity to like, do something different. Show us this story's perspective from a different type of character. Why couldn't all four girls really have their own moments and really lead this project? It didn't feel like an ensemble. It felt like our main character and then the three girls on the side who don't really have any character development or anything going on. Honestly, I would have loved to see Lovey Simone or even Zoe Luna be the lead of this project, or, you know, just have more of a focus on them in this project. They take the kind of school bully and push away from the toxic masculinity that he was really surrounded by and do a spell that makes him more sensitive, in touch with his inner self. And I actually really enjoyed how they portrayed that story. I think we got to see pretty positive, you know, bisexual and transgender representation in this project. And I will say, I think the first like half of the film, even though, you know, there wasn't a whole lot going on, I was having fun. They were going to parties, they were dressed really cool, they looked like they were having a good time. They did a lot of montages though. You know, a lot of the magic we saw, including that iconic light as a feather, stiff as a board scene, was kind of like a montage of a bunch of other magic things, so you didn't really get that like moment. And I just think that there were really no stakes. They actually had no part in anything negative happening, so when they decided they want to like bind their powers, I like felt like there was no real reason for that. And then the twist of revealing who the bad guy is felt very anticlimactic. I was like, what is happening here? I feel like this doesn't really make sense. Like, yes, we were focused on toxic masculinity throughout the film. Yes, we were focused on female empowerment throughout the film. But I just felt like the way that they introduced the bad guy kind of came out of nowhere. And it was kind of like, well, who is he? Why is he doing this? Why does he want our main character's powers? How does he even know she has powers? And then they do like a throwaway line that he's a warlock. And I was kind of like, oh, what? I just felt like the script was really weak. There wasn't a lot going on. And there wasn't a lot of character development. There was a lot of throwaway lines of things that could have been really important. And so while I think that there was a lot of potential with the story, it just didn't deliver. And, you know, throughout this project, there are references to the original film. They reference snakes and someone getting their period for the first time, someone moving to a new town. And they do tie this all back to the original Craft with a cameo of the original Nancy Downs. And I just felt like, again, it felt like it kind of came out of nowhere. Like I knew it was coming, but also the way that they introduced why this character was important to the story felt kind of shoehorned in, like, oh, our character just finds out she was adopted, what? And then when we actually get to see Nancy for the first time, it is like the most anticlimactic reveal. And I just wish that they had done so much more with that moment, because that's the moment that I think OG fans are waiting for. Like, oh my gosh, Nancy was like the iconic one from the original Craft. And then you just get this moment that feels like deflated. So when it comes down to it, I think that there was definitely a seed of inspiration for this project that would have been really, really cool. But I just felt like the highlights really were the fact that the girls were so close and that they looked like they were having a fun time, that they had really awesome fashion, that there was cool music playing, that they were able to kind of dive into this bisexual storyline in a really positive way. But then outside of that, you know, there was really no character development. There were no stakes. The big reveal of Nancy Downs was so anticlimactic. I don't think that this is a project that I can necessarily recommend, even though I would be curious to see another film. But in the grand scheme of things, I just don't think that this project came together in the way that they necessarily intended it to. I just think that they could have gone so much further with it, and it felt like they played it safe. And not even just played it safe, but also like just, you know, didn't develop this world really in any way or these characters in any way. If you like this one, you can check out more of my movie reviews right over here, and I will catch you in my next video. See ya.